guys? Welcome back to the channel. It is brisk this morning, and haven't driven the S2000 in a couple of weeks because, you know, I just drive the truck now. I just don't get me wrong, I love the S2000, but at least out here for the summer duration, I've noticed my soft top getting a little light in some spots up here, and just to try and preserve what I can of what's left of it, I just stopped driving it for most of the summer. That and my AC is kind of a little on the weak side right now. It needs a charge, and then I also need to get the blower actuator piece, the one that actually adjusts from top vent to bottom vent to whatever, because right now mine is defective and it's only letting me use like the top and bottom and the others and not just the top. And in the S2000, if you're trying to run the AC without just the top, kind of wasting your time. The soft top heat soaks a lot, especially out here in Arizona, so by the time the cold air from the bottom, which is where most of it comes in those settings, gets you, it's already just like bleh. But anyways, we got some work to do. We've been kind of grinding. I was in Florida for a week for my best friend's wedding. Didn't film because what am I going to film at a wedding? And then yeah, I've been back for, I think today's 4 days now, and I've just been just working hard at the shop, just trying to get stuff done. So we'll figure that out when we get there. We're working on some cool stuff at least. I do have to get some gas though, because I left myself a present of an empty tank when I parked this last. So it looks like we're having gas station breakfast today, because I really don't feel like taking the time to stop, because I do still have quite a bit of work to get done. So let's get down to the shop. Well, back at the shop, and it was my luck that on the way over here I decided to put the top down, and then for no reason at all, either my blower motor died, or my climate control unit died, or a fuse popped or something, because my blower motor wasn't working at all. So that's really disappointing. It's like you put all your time into one thing just for something else to go bad. Also, side note, these new Red Bulls, really good. Love it. Yeah, let me kind of show you what we're dealing with. We got ourselves a quick trip pizza here, and besides that, obviously my turd box here, that's here because I just fixed it after the last track day, or a drift day, where I broke the diff bolt. That's all good. Upgrade went well, super easy. This is what I am working on, like in the very moment. I just finished up some stuff on the Porsche. We're picking away at this little by little, as Alex has time to assist with some of the mechanical side of the things. But for what I did the most recently the other day is I built these stainless water pipes, shoot all the way up to here, as well as these stainless -10 oil feed lines. Tied them all in nicely, tucked it up the best I could, and then these are going to feed one to this part of the engine over here, one to the oil above the oil pan area, and then obviously the cooler, which I made. We put a new cooler in it, made some custom mounts for it, so we're looking pretty solid. And this thing, this is I think a Rocket Bunny or a Pandem kit on this FC. And this car, the owner says he's going to drift it, so he wanted a roll bar. He brought me a Bolton roll bar from Australia that he ordered like a year ago. Except for it's for a coupe, did not even begin to fit, because if you don't know, pretty much any chassis, the coupe is not, I mean, the convertible version is never going to be the same chassis-wise as any of the other models of that car. Externally, sure. Internally, chassis is way different. So it didn't even begin to fit, so I was like, dude, it's not even worth trying to modify, because the main piece, the main hoop, is wrong. The down bars are set to go on a coupe rear, you know, wheel arch. Not going to fit this. So I was able to let him, you know, I was able to get him to let me build him a custom one. So this one's almost done. So I got the main structure all done. I got part of the rear diagonal done. Only thing I'm trying to add today is another set of diagonals to, you know, exit, and then I might tie in a bar going across. That would be very last, as I would have to finish welding in all the base plates and at least the down bars to the thing. But this is like permanently convertible, so this is actually super convenient, because obviously I can just kind of prop the door open, I can just come in here, and we can just stand up in the car. Honestly, huge blessing, because you don't know how annoying and how physically demanding it is to be working on a roll bar or a cage in a car and have to crawl in and out a million times like on my car. So this one, I also recently bought a tubing polisher, and the finish that it leaves is just beautiful. So this one was with the sandpaper disc, or not disc, belt. This is with a Scotch-Brite. So the finish overall, this is much smoother and just looks a little bit brighter. The sanding one, I just thought I would try it. I didn't know if it'd be better than the Scotch-Brite, but the Scotch-Brite is just so good. But it takes a lot of effort. So I will offer like a polished version for when I build roll bars and stuff from now on, but you can definitely expect it to be probably like another $200 or so, just because of how long it takes. Like the tubing polisher is literally just this thing. Looks like a angle grinder with an attachment because it's basically all it is. But yeah, you just gotta sit there for a while. It's just time consuming, a little strenuous, but the effort is worth it. Obviously it looks beautiful. So that's basically all I'm finishing up today is this roll bar, the Porsche. Fab work wise, all that's left is I gotta make the upper pieces like this, just remake this out of aluminum, and then relocate the battery back to its original spot if possible, which is like in the engine bay. And then I just have to modify the upper water neck with just an aluminum 90 to face one of the water pipes. So a little everywhere. Hopefully you guys enjoy the video, and we're kind of just picking away at things and just getting it done. I don't even bother starting this thing for the first push out of the day. I just push it out, just like this. Easy. Good enough. Oh, I forgot. I got this Mercedes here too. This thing is a 1J in it. We'll make a video on this. We're just doing an exhaust on this. But just because it's such a unique and cool car, I'll definitely film that one. So onto the RX7. The reason, so I actually made all this progress basically in a day. Like I spent the first 2-ish hours, 2.5 hours prepping back here. Thankfully it already came gutted, but yeah, prepping for the base plates and getting those cut up and stuff. And I got the rest of all of this done yesterday, and I would have had more, but tube notching is not easy, and I struggle heavily with getting multi-point connections. And by that I mean like into this corner, because the one diagonal, that's already tricky enough, and I tied it in decently up there. Not as nice as I would like, but good enough. So this one I'm trying to obviously do the same thing, but you have to do it twice because going one bar here, one bar down there. But it's just hard, figuring out these connections right here. Like in this case, sometimes you get lucky and it's just like a straight 45 and a 45, like a 90-degree bend or surface or whatever. So that way with the 245s, it just tucks nicely in there, but it is not that way. So this tube actually kind of bends in that way, obviously going to the shock tower here. So trying to figure this out. I tried one last night. It didn't turn out very good. I don't even know where the pipe went, but basically wasted it. So Jeff is supposed to come by and show me a trick that he uses, but yeah, overall tube work is just not easy all the time. Sometimes you get lucky. The rest of this went pretty smoothly, but stuff like this is where it starts getting a little bit intricate, and then 10 times fold when you have to start adding bends and stuff in there. All right, so by the grace of God and some sleep, I was able to come in and figure this tube out. So turns out this is the one that I made last night, and I thought it was all off, but tube work again is such a finicky thing. Like it's all reference points and orientation of the notch and stuff. So basically what I had done last night, you can kind of see my notch marks or my drawing lines there. It was just a bit shallow, so I was just tired and got frustrated and was like, oh, this piece is trash, which it technically is, but it I just had to deepen the throat on the notches and then it fit perfect. But the only downside is this piece was just a little short. So here is the second attempt, and this one fits quite a bit better. So get up in here. So basically it just kind of clicks right into place just like that. It looks pretty freaking awesome. So that one's good, and then just got to do the same thing over there. And now that I already have the tube notcher set up for this notch, I can go ahead, just get my measurement for that tube and run the second notch to connect it here, and then I can just make my mark for that line over there. But honestly, that one's going to be harder, so I think I'm going to do that one first, right, and just make sure I know what that notch is, and then just set it up and do it. But yeah, that's going to be pretty much it once that tube is done. Again, I think I will add one going across just to tie it all in, make it all fancy, and that's going to be good. just in case any of you guys are looking to build your own cage, beginning cage roll bar builders, or anybody that just cares. Something I forgot to mention and forgot to do myself just now, but caught myself before I got further, is I just tacked the tube in, realized that I forgot to weld under it. So obviously you want the strongest support possible. That's how you get it, because you can't just intersect tubes without welding underneath them first. So like over here, for example, this one is already, move the welding gun out of the way, this one's already welded down under there. That gap could be smaller, but you know, working with what we got here. But yeah, you see I welded around it to make sure it was going to be good. So I'm going to go ahead and do that same thing, weld this inside notch before I intersect that tube to it. Unfortunately, after I just finished making this cross tube, which pretty stoked on that fit, man. Like, it's really hard because obviously the shuck tower is curving, but I got it pretty decent, if I, you know, say so myself. But the issue is that once I laid this tube, I realized I made the lower part of this X a little short. So although it lined up at the top, it did kind of bow up, but the bigger issue was there was more gap here than at that one. So I just took it out, cleaned it up. I'm gonna remake this tube here, and then that'll be good to go. That's all the tubes. And then from there, you know, I will go ahead and weld all the base plates in after that, and then we'll go around and just weld it out. And thankfully, having no top on here, I can just crawl around this thing and weld everything as is. Super easy, don't have to drop nothing. All right, finally got this thing finished up. Well, I mean, I finished this thing up a couple hours ago, but I was doing some other stuff I'll show you in a sec. But we're looking pretty freaking cool, if I say so. Yeah, everything's fully welded out. This bar is all good. You know, the polish look. Got the badge up here. The only thing that I can't figure out is I can't tell if it's an illusion. I think the center of the X is slightly to the left, but also this diagonal driver support bar kind of throws your eyes off a little bit. But it looks great to me. I'm very happy with how it came out. Hopefully the owner is stoked on it too. I actually got to drop it off at his shop, which is like a mile up the street. Not today, we're gonna do that probably tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, that is a completed roll bar. So, not too bad. A few other things I was working on though. Had some small tasks. So, that one's up on the chopping block next, like I mentioned, but just did a few little odds and ends really quick for a drop-off customer. Put some big old fatty -16 bungs on this radiator for an Evo, patched some leaky weld joints on this charge pipe, added a -6 fitting to this housing, and then modified this water pipe for a -6 as well as a -16. Well, with everything done, we're on the next day now, and I was just about to go send the Nissan, or the Mazda on the RX7, but it popped a coolant line. So now guys trying to figure out a tow truck because he's at SEMA, whatever. It's a whole thing. So because I don't trust driving it to a shop a mile away, because I don't want to be responsible if that motor pops. But nonetheless, I'm gonna wrap this video up here, and I was gonna add in what we're about to do into this video, but I wanted this kind of to be its own series. But I suppose you guys can probably guess what we got going on. So we'll leave that as your cliffhanger into the next video. So if you enjoyed the video, be sure to let me know in the comments down below. How are you guys doing anyway? You know, the videos lately, I know, aren't the greatest, but you know, just thank you for sticking around if you make it this far. I don't even know what else to say, honestly. I'm pretty anxious to get started on this, so we're just gonna wrap this up. So do what you love, and give it the rest. See you in the next one. Peace out.